Well, the good news for those of you who are about to become godparents, you will no longer have to renounce the devil and all his works. So it's carry on Satan in the Church of England. However, in Rome, they are training more exorcists, so clearly the Catholic Church is still on guard against manifestations of the evil one. Is there any evidence for Satan? We have pastor, we have the imam here to tell us all about. Imam Hassan, it's nice to see you again. Good morning. Muslims believe God created the devil. What does the devil do?
We believe that Satan exists, that God created the devil, and the Quran is mentioned that the devil whispers into the ears of humankind to influence them, not control them, control their actions, but influence certain decisions that they make.
Examples?
Sinning against God, doing bad deeds towards other human beings.
Is this not kind of shifting the blame?
Not necessarily. I mean, as I said, that the devil cannot control the human beings. It's the human being that actually controls their own actions. But the devil whispers into the ears of the human beings. Similarly, other human beings whisper into the ears of human beings. You know, they influence them with words, with their behavior, with their actions. So,
why did God create the devil?
It's primarily to test the human beings, to test them if they stick to the right path. And
aren't there plenty enough tests in life without the devil?
Of course, yeah. But I mean, this is one of the tests that God created.
One of the tests?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are Djinn then? Djinn are... What is a Djinn?
Djinn are...
emissaries of the devil?
You can put it like that, the emissaries or the troops of the devil. They do the handiworks of the devil. Not all Jinn. So we believe that there are some Jinn who are believers of God.
Jinn is a spirit?
Yes. They live in another dimension to us. We believe that there are some believers amongst the Jinn. They do God works. But we also believe that there are certain Jinns who carry out the handiworks of the devil.
Have you ever seen anyone who's possessed by the devil or anything like that?
As an imam, I receive a lot of calls, and a lot of people, they come to me and say that my child or this person has been possessed by the Jinn or possessed by the devil. And what I say to them is that, look, why do you say that? So I ask certain questions. For the first question I would ask, have you been to a GP? Have you been to a professional? You know, maybe because that person is depressed.
Have you ever come to the conclusion that somebody was possessed by the devil or by Jinn?
I've seen people personally that they have been influenced by the whispers of the devil, and we believe that this is something that is...
What were they doing?
They were behaving in an abnormal manner. They were not behaving in a normal fashion. And what I would tell them is to, recite the Holy Quran, which we believe is a miracle. The recitation of the Quran is a miracle.
It might be a mental health issue.
That is what I said. That when people do come, I say, have you been to a professional?
You've eliminated that possibility. Pastor, do you know of people who have been possessed by the devil?
Well, I would say first that even in the field of mental health, I think they have recognized now that spirituality can be a fourth route to understanding mental health.
What does that
mean? The first
mean?
one is biology, psychology, social
Okay, let me ask you, do you think a mental health condition can be because of the devil's works?
Precisely. That's what they recognize now. So some...
Who recognizes that?
It's written, it's in a book.
Which book?
It's Pilgrim, David Pilgrim. There is a section where it says, for those who are not atheists or materialists, we should give room to consideration of the spiritual dimension of their mental health.
Have you known ever or heard ever the example of a child possessed by the devil? Have you heard of this?
I've heard of that, and there are testimonies of children themselves who have been in that world and who have been delivered, set free, and who gave the testimony of what the devil has done with them. So we cannot deny, we cannot prove scientifically,
little children.
we cannot prove scientifically that Satan exists.
Okay.
But the absence of evidence
It's
does not mean
Ladies
absence of evidence.
and gentlemen, we're not going to leave the debate there. We're going to hear from other people as well. Richard Hoskins, you've worked in Africa, you've lived in Africa. How dangerous can this be?
Well,
just that last point about children being possessed.
Well, the answer is extremely dangerous. And it's not just Africa. Belief in evil powers exists in pretty much every religion and has done from the dawn of civilization. So in every religious tradition, whether
I wasn't picking on Africa, but you live there.
No, I know, but it's important to say that. I've been in Bible camps with young people where white-on-white pastors have tried to cast demons or exorcise children. But there is a particular problem at the moment in Africa, in some Pentecostal churches, where children are being accused of being possessed by the devil. And this is my problem with this. It's not the theory. It's not whether you can draw, we've been discussing already, whether you can draw from sacred texts, beliefs in something. My gripe, my issue is the practical dimension of this. Children are being accused of being witches, and to me, that is abusive.
It's chilling, isn't it?
It is chilling, and I've been involved. I've been involved in some of the toughest cases that this country's ever seen, for whether it's through from the Thames Torso case right through to Christy Mamu. And I was in the Old Bailey with Magli Bamu and Eric Bikubi, who were on trial for the brutal slaughter of that boy, who went from begging to save his life to begging to be killed. And that was directly as a result of being branded as a witch. And I'm afraid these Christian pastors have got to get their act.
Deal with a demonic manifestation, because the Bible is very clear. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So the main tool for deliverance is to teach the person
but Pastor,
the word of God.
But Pastor, this is very important. We mentioned there because they're evil,
Right.
people have been persecuted. Across Western Europe for hundreds of years, tens of thousands of women were murdered because they were seen as being the daughters of the devil.
But it's ignorance, once again, what I'm saying. You know the truth. If you know the truth, Jesus was the first person to deal with demons and to set free people who were under the influence of demons.
Well, what did
he
he
has
mean by-
never abused them physically or emotionally.
Okay, on the
He
subject of
spoke the
Jesus,
words.
Reverend Rachel, it's in the Bible. The devil's in the Bible like Voldemort is in Harry Potter, right the way through.
Except, again, we come back to a word that we used a bit earlier, hermeneutics, aka interpretation.
That was before the programme.
That's-
People will be
all right.
confused.
Okay.
Move on.
It's about interpretation. The Bible makes reference to Satan in a number of places, but actually it's about a question of interpretation. Sometimes Satan is actually, I think, in the book of Job, a joke figure.
Hilarious.
And in the book of Revelation, it's not clear that we're talking about some sort of personified evil. I simply cannot bring myself to believe.
That's not true.
Let me finish. I cannot bring myself to believe in a Satan who is an embodied angel who's been thrown out of heaven. I am a trained philosopher. I am a trained philosopher who has been very influenced by St. Augustine, who sees evil as the absence of good. The kind of God I believe in simply has no space for some sort of tempter who is there.
Let's come back to the pastor and then Kate. I know, Kate, when you've been on this programme with these debates, you're always very measured. But we'll come to you in a minute. Pastor, yes. Do you believe, let me ask you another question, because I think people find this very interesting, certainly. Do you believe that the devil, what's the phrase, can appear in corporeal form, can appear in bodily form? Do you think that has ever happened?
But it depends. When the Bible talk about devil appearing to Jesus to tempt him, it doesn't mention whether it was in a physical form or spiritual form. But from the testimonies of people who were involved with the world of darkness, they are saying that devil can come to them as a human being,
Really?
or as a
So there are many testimonies of alien abduction.
This is
just
all
the testimonies
Kate
of
Smurford.
people who were involved.
Well, yeah, I feel I should have a say on the subject, because whenever I appear on this show, Nikki, somebody on the internet always tells me that I am the devil.
Well,
And, but let me say this, it's absolutely terrifying to hear these kind of things about children can be possessed, and it's terrifying for two reasons. Firstly, because it implies that good and evil are these two kind of distinct forces that operate against each other. The reality is that this week when Vladimir Putin said that gay people welcome at the Olympics, they should stay away from children, he felt that he was doing good and protecting children, but actually a lot of gay rights activists, including myself, feel that he's doing something very bad by stigmatising gay people. These things are not as simple as good versus bad. In fact, life is much more nuanced than that, and we need to think much more about the consequences of our actions. But I might go one step further and say, look, what surprises me... So let me finish. What surprises me is that here we are in the 21st century. I have a device in my pocket which enables me to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody who lives in Australia. In this day and age, that there are still people who believe in the devil and indeed who believe in God. It's absolutely ludicrous.
but Angela Epstein,
Let me just give you the...
Tell me about the evil eye.
Let me give you the Jewish perspective.
The evil eye.
Well, OK, so the evil eye is sort of a construct. It's like this concept that evil, if you like, comes either from within, and this is the whole Jewish interpretation, which, of course, is the oldest religion. And the idea that everything that God...
Listen, do we have any...